Quite possibly the best HF Go kit I have seen to date. Are tuners safe? Really? And why all the hate for big POTA activations this time on Mailbag Monday? Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Ham Radio Tube. My name is Mike, K8MRD. If you have an amateur radio-related question for me, shoot me an email, k8mrd@icloud.com. We've got three amazing things to look at. Now, before we get to the first one, I want to show, this is the plaque that I won at this year's Go Kit Challenge. I was the first place People's Choice Award winner, and I'm very honored and humbled. I was going to say honored. I'm honored to win this. Yeah, get to the chopper. And then I got this email from this viewer, and he wanted to show off his Go box. He says, how do you like my first ham shack in a box? Love the YouTube channel. I am new to HF Ham. I am learning a crap ton. Thank you, 73. Check this out. Look, would you look at this HF Go box? This is fantastic. He's got it in an old suitcase. Looks like on the left there, you've got the mast and then maybe a little dipole with those hooks coming out there. We've got some copper piping there that looks like it's going to drop water onto two electrical outlets, presumably 110, but there's also switches on there, so maybe he's a CW operator. In the back right, you can see there's a transformer of some sort. Maybe that's the power supply. Love that. I love that the pipes are on a hinge, so you can collapse this thing. And note at the bottom right-hand corner of the box, presumably that might be your speaker. I would guess this guy's a CW guy. Maybe he's using the switches as the bleeps and bloops. And then that doorbell might be his speaker, so it'll ring depending on if you're receiving a bleep or a bloop. So I just absolutely died when I saw this. I had to share this. This is absolutely hysterical. I love it. And it reminds us that ham radio is fun. Sometimes people take this too seriously, and I think this is fitting with another question that we're going to see here soon. So I hope everybody got a good laugh at that. I know I sure did. Next, we have a serious question about antennas. This viewer is writing, I am not a sad ham. Isn't that exactly what a sad ham would say and start their sentence with? He goes on, but I am sometimes a lazy ham. Well, we can all relate to that. I use ham sticks with my 891 while in my truck POTA hunting. I usually start out on 20 meters, then go to 40 meters. I get lazy when it's raining and don't want to change the ham sticks out, so I'll use my auto tuner. He's got an LDG Z11 Pro to tune a 20-meter ham stick on the 40-meter band. Just because it tunes doesn't mean it is safe. Is there anything I should be concerned about? So that's a good question. And there's a lot going on with tuners, and even like with end-fed half waves and things like that. So really, the term tuner is kind of a misnomer. We're not really tuning anything in terms of the antenna. It's not like you're making the antenna longer or shorter by tuning it. What a tuner does, and there's auto tuners and there's manual tuners with inductors and capacitors and latches and relays and all kinds of things. But what is happening when we have a mismatch in impedance, which is what a tuner is really correcting? The output of our radio is expecting to see 50 ohms. So if we don't see that, we might employ a tuner, which is really a matching network. So it's going to match the impedance coming from the antenna to something 50 ohms or pretty darn close to 50 ohms that our radio is going to want to see. So case in point, I have an MFJ 993 Bravo sitting here in front of me. I don't use it very often, but if I want to get on like 160 meters for some reason, I have an 80 meter dipole. I'll throw the tuner on. It matches it. My SWR is terrible on 160 meters. It's not resonant at all. But that tuner will bring the impedance down to a level that's acceptable for my radio. Maybe a 1.5-ish to 1, let's say. So by doing what you're doing with a ham stick, and ham sticks are compromised antennas. They're kind of like miniature Wolf River coils, if you will. You have a fiberglass rod with a piece of metal as the radiating element that inserts inside of it and slides out to become your radiating element. But around that fiberglass rod is all kinds of wire wrapped around it. Well, that's adding inductance, which is what is kind of matching the impedance. It's a loaded vertical antenna. That's all it is, with a very short whip to get you out on the ham bands. Are they horribly efficient? No. Do they work? Absolutely. So you're already compromised there. You'll notice your bandwidth on 20 meters is probably okay. I doubt you get the whole band. But when you tune it on 40 meters, that tuner is going to have no problem matching it, but your bandwidth is going to be even narrower. So, maybe 50 kilohertz plus or minus where you tuned, if that. I'm probably being generous. So your radio is not going to have any problem with it unless there's something catastrophic going on. But assuming your feed point, your antenna, your radio, everything is working as it should, there's no problem at all. The only difference is, as you tune something, as you transform impedance, whether it's with an antenna tuner or with a 9-to-1 or a 49-to-1 or a 64-to-1, any of these transformers, you're transforming impedance and you're sacrificing power in terms of loss through heat. So that 100 watts that you're putting out at your radio goes through the tuner, goes through the loaded kind of mismatched antenna. There's a lot of losses due to heat because of that. Now, unless you're just keying down CW for hours on end, chances are nothing's going to happen. Your radio is seeing something close to 50 ohms, so it's happy. Your tuner, assuming you're not putting more power into it than it's rated, is going to be just fine doing exactly what it's doing because that's exactly what it is built to do. So you're not going to get as much power out at the antenna, but it's still, and you know this because you do it, it still works. It's just not going to be as efficient. If you tune down the bands with your VFO, you'll probably need to retune with the antenna tuner and such. But yeah, it works. So keep doing it. Be lazy, my friend. Lastly, we've got a question that, boy, do I have some experience in. This viewer writes, what is the big hatred for a large POTA activation? Why do I have to set up a setup that uses a wet noodle as an antenna and just enough power to power a Casio watch to not get haters? When I go out, I want to be heard. Want to make it easy for the hunters to get me and other parks to hear me. I've been working on a mobile tower setup for a few years. The moment I post it on a social media, I get bashed saying that this is not what POTA is all about. I'm taking the challenge out of it. I like to go out and set up my 30-foot mobile tower with a 3-element beam for 10, 15, and 20. I've attached a video of the setup. My challenge was building this thing. So take a look at this. Here's the video. He's got this really cool tower. It's motorized. It's going up. It's got a freaking beam at the top. Who the heck wouldn't want this for their portable POTA activation? I think this is fantastic. Now, I've got to tell you, I have done activations like this. And you're gonna get haters no matter what you do. That's just they're keyboard commandos. They're behind a screen. There's no repercussions for their actions. So case in point, Ryan, Sideboom, and I, and a couple other people did a 1,000-watt POTA activation in Louisiana. We talked about this last year when this happened. This is like in October. And this Patrick Woof guy comes in on Facebook, just all belligerent. You apparently don't comprehend that you're just cluttering the frequencies. You won't be able to hear those trying to reach you with 10 watts or 100 watts that hear you, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude. First off, we did it in the name of science. We wanted to see what would happen if we did a 1,000-watt POTA activation. Would our batteries hold up? How would propagation work? How would contacts work? Like, it's science. It's the epitome of ham radio. And then when I was doing just last week when I was filming the video about Polo, that new portable ham radio logging app, I self-spotted myself, okay? And what frequency do you think I would pick to self-spot? 14,300, naturally, right on the stupid maritime mobile net. Well, this David Gold guy comes in on the POTA Facebook group. This picture was sent to me from Scott from Ham Radio for Non-Techies. He texted me. This David Gold guy says, should we have a better way to communicate to new operators that some frequencies are international distress or otherwise designated for a specific mode or purpose? So David, and this post got taken down very quickly. Otherwise, I would have responded to it because I may or may not actually be on Facebook. Do not friend request me. I'm not communicating with anyone there. The only reason I'm there is to monitor the POTA dumpster, the Parks on the Air dumpster fire. So notice I spotted myself on 14300, and right underneath my call sign in the box there, it says test. This is a test. But this David Gold guy had to be one of those. David Gold is a self-appointed ham radio policeman, and he just felt it necessary to do that. So, yeah, you know what, dude? There's always going to be hate. Always, always, always. Now, I'm going to say that I guarantee you, I have been doing POTA longer than 99% of the people on the POTA Facebook page, social medias, including that David Gold guy. I got in early, man, and I'll tell you, on my very first Parks on the Air activation, Eric, K8ERS, and Mike, W8MSC, took me along and Elmered me on my first POTA activation. Now, Eric had a buddy stick with him, and would you believe that he set up his buddy stick in a Yagi configuration? A Yagi. So all these people on the Facebook POTA group, first off, just ignore them because they're idiots. Show me where anywhere in the POTA documentation it says what you have to do or how you have to operate or the power or the antennas that you can use or any of that stuff. It doesn't exist. The only rule is that you can't make a contact on a repeater. That's pretty much it. And you and your antenna and your whole system need to be inside the park. That's pretty much the only rules. Parks on the Air is for people who enjoy ham radio and they enjoy the outdoors. Anyone else who adds more to that is straight up talking out of their ass, and I will contradict them and condemn them any chance that I can get because they are 100% wrong. And I hope this video gets to David Gold, Mr. POTA Police, for just reacting. David, do you know who I am? Yeah, you just got to ignore him, dude. You're going to get hate. There are no rules. If you want to run 1,500 watts with a Yagi pointed out to Europe doing a Parks on the Air activation, you absolutely can. And, dude, if I had that tower, you bet your butt I would bring that with me to every single POTA activation. So do what I do, like on APRS. I just bought a Yaesu FTM 300 because I wanted a new VHF radio. You know why I bought it instead of an ICOM? Because it had APRS. I don't like APRS. I do APRS to troll people. And I would encourage you to keep posting pictures like that out of spite, to troll the haters on the Facebook POTA group. But I thank you so much for writing in. Do not stop what you're doing. You are doing nothing wrong. In fact, you're doing everything right. You're playing Parks on the Air, and you're having fun. That's the name of the game. Guys, if you have a question for me, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. K8MRD@iCloud.com. My name is Mike, K8MRD. Thanks for watching another Mailbag Monday here on Ham Radio Tube 73, y'all.